Hey everyone, welcome to Cyclotron Nation, the first episode on the channel, released on launch day, June 8th, Ghostbusters Day. So if you're watching this on Ghostbusters Day, happy Ghostbusters Day. I'm actually filming this a day before. I was contemplating on what kind of episode I should be doing, what kind of topic to discuss. It's been a busy week for Ghostbusters groups all across the world. And like many of them, I've been very busy. But I've been trying to find some topic to discuss regarding Ghostbusters Day. I want it to be special because the channel's launched on Ghostbusters Day with the first episode. So I was struggling to find an idea. I didn't know what to do. All I knew was it needed to be a video to commemorate Ghostbusters as well as the celebration of the channel launching. It is a Ghostbusters channel where we discuss all things Ghostbusters. And I'm talking about a wide range of things on the Ghostbusters universe spectrum. That is what I hope to accomplish. I'll even be filming times when I'm out with the groups. I'm with the Ghostbusters of the Ozarks as well as the Northwest Arkansas Ghostbusters. Two groups. And I'm very pleased to be with them. And I can't wait to share those experiences that I have and make with the group with you guys. I do want to point out that this video is recorded, like I stated previously, a day before Ghostbusters Day, as I was struggling with time and ideas. So, in order to get this video out, I'm going to forego any type of hardcore editing or effects. Before the video continues, I have to apologize for the sound. I am using a not so great lavalier mic, and I tried to find one that would reduce the background noise as much as possible. Unfortunately, it does take a hit in quality, but it allows me to film outside with natural lighting. And with it being Ghostbusters Day, I thought, why not do something special? Why not film it outside with my Ecto 8, with some of my Ghostbusters items. So to commemorate Ghostbusters Day on a Ghostbusters channel, launching on Ghostbusters Day. I do have to apologize again for the audio. I can't help that. I apologize. So the idea that I had was, why not talk about why I became a Ghostbuster? Why I love it. If you're a Ghostbusters fan, you have your reason. Everyone has their reasons why they love Ghostbusters or why they became a Ghostbuster. And a perfect documentary talking about the Ghostbusters fandom goes into this a little deeper, titled Ghost Heads. Multiple interviews with not only some of the cast, crew, and a lot of fans from around the world. But I'd like to tell you my story. Maybe some of you can relate. I would love to hear your reasons on why you love Ghostbusters so much, or why you became a Ghostbuster. I would love to see those in the comments. Absolutely, write me in the comments and let me know. And once again, I apologize for the editing if it seems out of sorts in some ways. Once again, it's a new channel for me, and it's crunch time, and I'm trying my best. But I'm just going to be who I can and do what I can. I'm making this more so for me, so that I can share it with you. But me, so that I can document things throughout my life as being a Ghostbuster. But documenting things in my life as a Ghostbuster and being able to look back on those fond memories and sharing those with other people. But also hopefully maybe relating to you. But it will also help you understand who I am as a person and as a fan. Why do I love Ghostbusters? Is it the tech, the equipment, the car? Is it the cast? Or is it the characters? The music, the atmosphere? Those are all valid reasons. And theoretically speaking, Ghostbusters should not have even been a hit. But it was, and immediately became a cultural phenomenon. So for me growing up, as I'm sure a lot of you have also done this growing up, You watched Ghostbusters. Of course, when I watched Ghostbusters, it was early 90s. I was born in 90. And unfortunately, I didn't get to see Ghostbusters in the theater. But that was okay. I did watch it on VHS and didn't immediately understand it right away. A lot of it was adult content, but I was enthralled and drawn into it. The atmosphere, the colors, the ghosts, definitely the soundtrack of all the different sounds of the equipment. But I think what really threw me off a loop as a kid was watching a giant marshmallow man walking down the street in Manhattan. And to me, that was absolutely amazing. I remember my dad telling me that there's a guy in that suit. And I didn't understand that at the time. As years went on, I would understand that it was all miniatures. And a lot of it was rotoscoped out. And he was added in to the scene later on. Special effects became something that I loved. And I just think practical effects are absolutely amazing. It gives somebody the actual ability to react to something that's there, instead of imagining it. Now, granted, the people of Manhattan, the extras running with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, had to react and pretend that there was a giant marshmallow man walking towards them. But in all practicality, being able to build a giant marshmallow man for them to react was very unrealistic. All the practical effects, things that could really sell you, just blew me away. And I think that's one of the things that really drew me in. But then the characters. As a kid, I had no idea who Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, or Ernie Hudson were. I just knew, hey, those are the Ghostbusters. So whenever I saw Dan Aykroyd or Bill Murray in another film, I'd say, hey, look, it's that Ghostbuster. So for me, it was the characters. I loved watching the characters. And then the soundtrack. I remember as a kid, I had the cassette tape recorder that Kevin McAllister had in Home Alone 2. And I remember recording the audio from the film towards the end, where Stay Puft first makes his appearance coming around the corner. And I took the tape recorder in to show and tell. I took it in and played it for everybody, while all pretending to be the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, recreating that scene. I mean, I was enthralled with Ghostbusters. And at that time, I was lucky. The real Ghostbusters had already been on TV for a few years. So I already had Kenner Ghostbusters figures from my brother. They were hand-me-downs. I had the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, the Ecto-1, a few of the ghouls and ghosts. Definitely had characters. And I had the real Ghostbusters Kenner Firehouse. And at that time, I had no idea there was a real Ghostbusters TV show. I thought those toys are based off the film. And I thought to myself, these don't really look like the characters. They made them look more cartoony. But it didn't matter to me. They were those same characters. So Ghostbusters immediately had a big influence on my life. I didn't have the original Kenner Proton Pack, but I had the Extreme Ghostbusters Proton Pack. My brother and I both got them for Christmas. And I remember rewinding the Ghostbusters VHS at the end, listening to that song, and me and my brother running around dancing to the Ghostbuster song with the packs on. I mean, it was a blast. It was fun, and we had a lot of memories. As I got older, I realized there was cosplay. At that time, I knew I didn't have any money, or whatever money I was earning, very little. Very little. Part-time work, minimum wage, not enough to save to get myself a proton pack or anything. But I knew I wanted to be a Ghostbuster. I knew I wanted a pack, a uniform, a PKE. I knew I wanted to become a Ghostbuster. And still, as I got older, My obsession and passion for Ghostbusters grew. Then in high school, then through middle school, I was being bullied a lot, dealing with a lot of different things throughout. Then move on to high school. Very similar. Struggling with grades for my ADHD and OCD. But because of the damage done to middle school all the way through high school, I developed severe depression, which I still suffer with to this day. And let me preface by saying something like this. My parents know I love Ghostbusters and constantly help me throughout my depression. I am eternally grateful to my parents, and I love them both very much. But they not only helped me, so did my grandma. See, at the time, I was going through severe depression. I bought the Real Ghostbusters cartoon series, the Ultimate Collector's Edition, the Firehouse. And whenever I was depressed or struggling, I knew I could always talk to my grandma. So I would go over to her house, stay the night, maybe a couple nights, and we would just chat. But when I was going through severe depression and I had the Real Ghostbusters DVD collection, I would put it on in her apartment, sit down and watch. And it was very hard for me to really, and when I get really depressed, I don't tend to open up. I remain quiet. I struggle to find anything to talk about, find words for things. So I stay silent. So I put the show on, and I'd sit down and watch. My grandma would come over. She'd sit down, and she'd start watching with me. We'd both start to chuckle at any of the characters that were doing something mischievous, or any of the ghosts, or even Slimer. But then she'd slowly start to ask me questions and just talk to me. I would begin to open up. Sometimes I would cry. I just couldn't take it anymore. Other times I would just mumble, struggling to find the words. So we'd sit down and talk, chat. So the moments that we shared together, the warm moments of bonding and opening up, helping me through my depression, or because of my grandma, and Ghostbusters being an outlet. She already knew I loved Ghostbusters, and she used that as leverage, as an opportunity to come into my world and sit down and bond with me. And I am eternally grateful for that. A few years go on, and I'm finally at a point where I can decide where I want to spend my money on in terms of Ghostbusting equipment. Well, first I needed a car, and I really needed a car. So a few years go by, and by this point, she's moved back down to Florida. A few years later, we get news that she's developing Alzheimer's. So to help her while she starts to decline, she moved back here. We took care of her for as long as we could until eventually it was just too hard to take care of her. And she was put in a nursing home, hospice care, where they can constantly monitor and take care of somebody with Alzheimer's. Before the virus started, she was still able to understand you, still able to kind of have semi-conversations, but forgetting them moments later. And remembering your name. When we first heard the news that she developed Alzheimer's, I tried to put my plan into action as fast as I could. My grandma knew one thing I really wanted was to become a Ghostbuster. I wanted to have my own equipment. So I tried my best to come up with all of that. And it was very difficult. Finally, I had gotten everything I needed. I'd finally gotten my proton pack, my uniform. I'd finally felt like a Ghostbuster. And then the virus happened. Lockdown occurred. I was not able to visit my grandma for an entire year. When the lockdown was lifted, I went into nursing home with my proton pack and my uniform on. And she was worse. She had declined so bad during the lockdown. She didn't remember who I was. She didn't remember who my mom was. The one thing I wanted to do more than anything was to show my grandma that I had finally become a Ghostbuster. I wanted her to see that her grandson finally became a Ghostbuster. I was going to let her hold the wand and fire it. But she had no idea who I was. She didn't know who any of us were. She was in very bad shape. Immediately upon realizing this, I broke down. I never got to show my grandma who I became. She would have been proud of me. And of course, most recently, I've been struggling financially. I've been out of work for a little bit and struggling so bad that I even contemplated and toyed with the idea of selling most of my equipment. And then an episode happened with my grandma. She appeared to have maybe had a mild stroke or heart attack. But we believed she was dying. She was there moaning in pain, and she was calling out to her mommy. And it was at those moments that I remembered what my grandma was like before she had this disease. She was caring, loving, independent, and strong. And one thing that she would always pride herself on was the love of her grandchildren. And of course, around that time as well, my depression had kicked back in, as it sometimes does. But at that moment, I remembered all of the memories we shared together. And I would know one thing she would say. She would tell me, "Stephen, don't sell your Ghostbusters equipment." She would get on me or get mad at me if I were to sell it. And she would tell me that whatever the issues are, financially, emotionally, the Lord would provide and help me through it. And she's right. But she also does as well. And what helps me through it all is our bond that we had over Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters played a big part in my life. See, my grandma can't remember all of the memories that we shared together. I never got to show her how I became a Ghostbuster. I never got to show her the pack, me in a flight suit. I never got to show her any of that. And I really wish more than anything I could. See her face light up to see that her grandson finally became a Ghostbuster. But she helped me through depression, through Ghostbusters. And I try to project and modify those memories I have of her and create new ones for people that may be going through the same situation I was, or any other situation. So I try to help everybody that I can. Why? Because I know what it's like to struggle, to be emotionally drained and void of any type of emotion. I know what it's like. And there are people out there with far worse conditions than mine. And I would love nothing more than to bring smiles and memories to their faces and maybe help boost their spirits by taking a mix of what me and my grandma bonded over with the things that she taught me and the things I've learned growing up, and morphing it into an outlet. Because this is also therapy for me. And I think it's because of just, and I don't know, I can't explain why. I could say something, but I don't know if it'd be right, or I don't know. All I know is I love strapping on this pack. I love zipping up this flight suit. I love driving my Ecto. I have true passion for this. And I know many of you out there do as well. You all have a passion for something. You all have a calling. You all have a love for something. Mine's Ghostbusters. And I love being there, making people smile, creating memories, projecting the memories that I've learned, and projecting the memories that I have made with my grandma. Those happy moments, and giving them to others. We'll keep that memory alive of my grandma when she can't remember any of it. I really wish she could. So that's what being a Ghostbuster means to me. Being able to support somebody. Being able to be out there, and I don't look at myself as somebody special. I look at myself as somebody who is emotionally damaged, who has struggled, who's a real person. That's why I have my name tag up here. My name. I don't want to be anybody else. At the time of this filming, my grandma is still alive in hospice, but she has been getting worse. She has been declining so rapidly. It has just absolutely drained us all of energy. It's hard for her to lift her head now. She's hardly eating, hardly talking. And when I mean talking, I mean mumbling. Now, she mostly just says, "Mommy." And she's had a few more episodes like that more recently. Somehow she keeps pulling strong. And that's the one thing about my grandma, is even when she can't remember anything, she still is fighting. I love my grandma very much. then I don't wish this disease on my worst enemy. And I apologize. I didn't mean for this video to kind of take a dive turn of emotions, but it's reality. It's my reality. Just as I'm sure all of you have your own reasons behind becoming a Ghostbuster. Your own age of when you became a fan of Ghostbusters. We all have our baggage. We all have our reasons. On the bright side, it is Ghostbusters Day. And the bright side of that is that we're able to share all these moments and create memories for others and create memories for ourselves. Things that are good for our soul, things that are good for each and every one of us. And I love Ghostbusters so much that I can't wait to begin modding on any of my equipment, which another thing that this channel is going to be. I'm going to be going over some of the cosplay stuff that I'm going to be modding. For example, the HasLab pack. I can't wait to install the GP Star pack. But like I said, unfortunately, with finances and me being out of work for a while and not having money, I don't know when that's going to be. But rest assured, guaranteed, I will be modding this pack here on this channel, and I can't wait. And I will be modding it with the GP Star full kit, because I want to get this mod to fix this wand and change the internals of this as well, operating with that pack. And I can't wait to make it more accurate and take it places, and just watching people's faces light up, it's going to be so awesome, and I can't wait to do it. And I can't wait to begin doing other mods on different things. I'm eventually going to get a different flight suit. Another thing I'm going to get for the HasLab pack is the Redmond motherboard. Unfortunately, I got to try to find enough money right away first to get it, because they're only doing a third run on that or something like that, I believe, where it's going to be fast and you're only going to have one chance to kind of get it. I got to find out some way I'm going to have to get it, because I really want that. I want to make this pack as screen accurate as I can. I already have a few parts that I got months ago when I had some money, including an actual Fincher Technologies ribbon cable. The only thing I've changed out so far is the actual power lens. But I know there's going to be a change in that as well, I believe, with the GP Star kit. But I can't wait to begin modding it, and I can't wait to learn some new things and hopefully help some people along with theirs. But I'm mostly doing all of this for me. Now, not to say I'm not doing it for you, but a lot of this, a lot of Ghostbusting, for me, this is going to be my journey as a Ghostbuster. Something that I can look back on in the future, and maybe even a week from now. Something that I can look back on, things that I can document and learn from. But at the same time, I would love to help others that may be struggling and making mistakes and trying not to make mistakes. Because one thing I know is if I make a mistake on this channel, I want to make sure somebody knows, do not make this mistake that I made. And I'm going to try to learn how to solder on this channel. Don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. And I definitely cannot wait to begin transforming this channel into something that I love. And I can't wait to begin creating, because all the stuff that I'm creating is going to be stuff that I want to create. I don't want to be bogged down into trying to create fame or create an audience gathering. If you like my stuff, I love you for that. Thank you so much. But if I happen to get famous, I really doubt it. But if, say on the off chance I happen to get it, I don't want it to be because I started doing stuff my audience wanted me to do. Now, not to say I don't want to take suggestions. Of course, I would love to take suggestions. I would love to see what you guys think on ways that I can maybe improve my channel. And of course, I know one thing I would love to improve is my audio. I mean, that's one thing I would love to improve. But the setting, I looked at it through the camera. I need to get, speaking of which, I need to get a camera too. I need to do, a lot of things will be upgraded throughout the channel, but I would love to see my channel grow because of who I am. not because of somebody I pretend to be. I don't want to be somebody I'm not. I'm Stephen Vaughn. I'm nobody special. I'm just a Ghostbusters fan, same as you. And I love being able to interact with anybody I can. And being able to share our passion with Ghostbusters. And it's Ghostbusters Day. And that's exactly what the passion's about. Sharing our passion. Being able to share stories like this one. Learning each and every one of our backgrounds on why we became a Ghostbuster and why we're so pumped about Ghostbusters Day. And I know this video has gone on long enough, and I do apologize, but I just wanted to be a momentous occasion for Ghostbusters Day. I want to do something different. I don't know what I'm going to do in my next video. I really don't. But I know the 2 videos that are going up today are the ones from me in Springfield, or headed to Springfield. And then tomorrow, I am going to be recording footage of the Rogers, Arkansas event. That will be going up on my channel. Can't wait for that. But I just would love to share all this experience with you guys, and hopefully within that, maybe show you guys what it's like and how much joy it brings me. And for those of you that may be on the fence of becoming a Ghostbuster, maybe you'll see how much joy it brings me. And if it's something that you're passionate about, it will bring joy to you as well. I can guarantee it. And if you're new to this stuff, if you're new to cosplaying, I really do hope to kind of create a guide eventually of things to look out for and get. And you don't have to have a proton pack to be a Ghostbuster. You really don't. See, I'm OCD and ADHD. For me, I had to have a proton pack, but that was just me. And let me tell you, Eddie Warren from Ghostbusters of the Ozarks, he knows I'm OCD. And I keep telling him I'm so sorry. And he tells me, dude, yeah, you're OCD. It's whatever. I think he's just being nice. I really don't like bringing that OCD to people, and I don't mean to. It's not something. It's the kind of person I am. I'm very affectionate, very loving, and kind to people, and I think a lot of people kind of get put off by that because they're not used to something like that. But I was raised to be loving and kind to others, regardless of who you are, regardless of what you believe, regardless of how you think. I was raised, and I believe in treating people with the utmost respect and dignity as you can treat somebody. And when I do OCD stuff, I feel like I'm not treating them with dignity. I'm kind of going, messing with their mind. I don't want to do that, But we all have those things happen. But you don't have to have a proton pack to be a Ghostbuster. And that's what I love about this fandom. You don't have to have all the equipment. You can be a Ghostbuster, even be a member of a group without even having a flight suit. You show up multiple times and you just have a Ghostbuster shirt on that you're just sporting around, you're a Ghostbuster. We're all Ghostbusters in here. That's where it counts. Right here. And the heart is what is behind it all. And who created Ghostbusters? Whose idea was it? The heart of the Ghostbusters, Dan Aykroyd. And today we celebrate Ghostbusters Day, the 39th anniversary. Next year's the 40th anniversary. I can't wait to see what we're going to get this Ghostbusters Day for the Ghostbusters Day celebration. It's right now is the perfect time to be a Ghostbuster. Years ago, we don't have all the stuff that we have now, that we've been blessed with now. It's quite a time to be a Ghostbuster. So what are you doing for Ghostbusters Day? If you're not doing anything, I would suggest trying to get with your group. If you're with one, find a group, see if you can do something with them, if they're doing something. And if not, why don't you go ahead and pop in Ghostbusters, microwave yourself a bag of popcorn, dump it in a bowl, or if you're like me and a few others, and many others who went to Afterlife, you got the Ecto 1 popcorn bucket. Dump it in here, eat yourself some popcorn, and watch Ghostbusters to celebrate. And don't forget, enjoy being you. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. If you have a passion for something, you stick to it. You hold it close because it means so much to you. And spewing out examples here, if you're a painter and you love just going to the art studio every Wednesday and somebody doesn't like you for that, why you go there on Wednesday? You're never going to be famous or nothing. And you're just doing it because you have passion for it. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. If you love going trooping as a stormtrooper and somebody says, why are you doing that? That's just ridiculous. Getting all hot all day and everything else. Well, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. There's a reason why you're a stormtrooper. There's a reason why you're doing it. You enjoy it. There's a deep meaning behind it all. Passion and dedication. Don't let anyone take that away from you. Stay passionate. Stay true to yourself. Enjoy Ghostbusters Day. And thank you for joining the first episode of Cyclotron Nation. I'll see you in the next one.